Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Minutes, episode 290. The auction story, the tale of the sale. Mark had a great, and the team we had a great auction on Saturday in Monavale. Good morning, Mark. Happy Monday.
Good morning, Mr. BURGIO.
Thank you very much. Auction went well. Tell us, what was it? How did it go?
Emotions were high. So 17 Christine Monavale. Monavale's a great suburb on the northern beaches, very popular. And mate, it was really good. Like, we'd started at 4:30. We had Vic LaRusso, the auctioneer. I've got a bit of feedback on your end. I had Vic LaRusso, the auctioneer, there. We started right on 4:30. 3 registrations at the auction. So before you go to an auction, you have to register with your license as a bidder. So we had 3 people bidding at the auction at the time. And that's good, you fix your audio. And mate, it was cool.
How long was the campaign? Just bring up the photos of it now so people can see. Tell us, how long was the campaign? Was it COVID? Did it matter?
Yeah. So we had 1 week pre-auction. Then we had 4 weeks of campaigning. We had 15 open houses. We had about 60, 70 groups through in total. So that's probably a little bit. Yeah, it's probably a bit above average in terms of numbers. As in good, sort of goodish, not huge. Property needed a lot of work. So the back deck had termites, the front deck had termites, but it was a really big home. So if you're going to be doing modernisation, that's easy. If you're going to be putting a second story on and dealing with council, it's a lot harder. So it was a fun house to do up, a big house to do up, great block of land with the reserve next door. We were guiding 1.6 on that property. First week we were guiding 1.7, and then it ended up going to 1.6 because there wasn't the interest that we'd hoped for in the auction.
And I think that's really important, just that little move there. Whenever you list a property, you've got to stay very mobile in your vision you obviously have your 3, 4, 5 week plan. But if things aren't where you want them to be or need them to be, you've got to adapt. And that's with price, that's with marketing, that's with open times. You can't just be agreement signed, contract in, and you're stuck in the sand or the mud. It's a fluid process. I think it's the best way to describe it. What your plan was for the day may not be the outcome, sort of thing. So it's very fluid. What was your take on the price? You had it offer prior to auction. Where did you see it lined with what you thought it was worth, what the buyer feedback was after week 1, and the result of the auction?
Well, I guess this is a bit of an autopsy now, isn't it, of the auction?
Yep.
But
dissecting.
There was 4 or 5 offers that came in through that campaign. A couple of building inspections done on that campaign, and the offers were around. Generally, the offers were around the 1.6 to the 1.65, but then there was a couple of unicorns above that.
Yep. And talk me through auction do you want me to go through my point of view first, because as a viewer, not an agent. And the point of the viewer that I come from is probably a high level view. So obviously being an agent.
Well, you've got some experience, but and thank you for your support. Thanks for coming on the auction. We had about 10, 15 Novak crew there, and thank you to everyone that came along. But what do you reckon?
Yeah, so this will be probably a high-level analysis, and not every buyer will know what's happening, but I definitely know a lot of buyers will know what's happening because they're bought or they're sold. So I'm a strong believer in property, and I'm not saying this is, like I said, from the buyer's point of view, so I don't know what was going through the owner's mind, but my hypothesis as well, just originally with any property, I believe greed equals less money, and basically less greedy equals more money. And that can be when you have a property on the market. I know we've got a couple agents on like Admal. And what I've seen over the time is, and this will get me to the auction, if you're listing a property and it's worth 700, owners are happy with that, but obviously they want more, of course. But they're like, yep, it's 700, do what you do as an agent to get more. An agent will be being quite aggressive, you're marketing at 670, 680, and you've got huge amounts of competition and momentum, which is the key. And then a lot of the time I see you end up getting more than what you said it was worth, or more what the owner really wanted. But then you get an occasion where you have an owner, you say it's worth 700, they're wanting 750, they won't allow you to put a price on it below 740, and you're starting off from the back foot, you don't have the momentum, and a lot of the time they actually may sell for the 700 or the 690 because you're not starting the right foot. And this is where it comes key to auctions, that momentum and fluidness.
It's like a good dance, Michael.
Yes.
It's like a good dance. A good dance, it's a bit dreamy and it just keeps going and it's beautiful. But if you stop that good dance halfway through or a third through or 3 times or 7 times, it makes you or your partner that are dancing have a think.
Yeah.
And some, you know what I mean? So I think that that sort of helps me understand what you're saying a little bit more.
Yes, 100%. So then we get to the auction, and obviously all auctions start off slow, and Vic is so good at just getting
How
them.
slow did it start off? How slow was it?
And
It was like
rainy.
honestly, if you're in the crowd, you would be 100% saying there is no one here that's going to buy the property, and you probably would have been saying that for a whole 10 minutes, which felt like 1 hour.
Yeah, and you would have thought, like, I thought going to the auction going, oh, no one's going to be there. There was 30, 40, 50 people, all socially distanced, of course, unless you're in the same family. So anyway, once the auction starts, it starts off really well, but then you get to the point at the auction. Now, whichever auction you go, it's bidding, it's starting aggressive.
The bidding was good, eh? The bidding was like there was 2 people pretty much the whole way through.
Yep.
And sort of started at 1.6, which I thought was a good start.
Yes.
To the auction, and then it was pretty much going up from memory in tens. Would you agree?
Yeah. So basically, it went from 1.6 to 1.7 with the opening bidder and the first bidder. But then, as soon as that first bidder started slowing down, and he said no a couple of times, then he had a little bid. Then he said no more, and then he had another bid. And then, as soon as he was out, there was a third bidder. So he obviously sort of was pretty happy to let's see where these two get to. And then he was coming in really hard, really fast. And that's really good confidence bidding. They bid, he goes straight on top. They bid straight on top. Confident.
And he really did wait till those first two really battled it out to the end. And then he came in strong. Whereabouts did he come in at price wise?
Yeah, around that 1.710, 1.720. So, but the original bidder was still just as one, so it had sort of great momentum. But then you can tell in a part of an auction when the buyers are like, all right, where are we on the market? Because the auctioneers have to be very, very specific with dialogue, and the buyers were sort of fishing for that. We're on the market. Like auctioneers can get really tricky. Like, we're selling today, but that does not mean we're on the market. It's literally the 3 words in a row, on the market. If it's not done in that way, it's not on the market. It could be on around the market. Like
that's a great secret. That's a great secret, because auctioneers really dance around this terminology, or they really dance around this word. So what's the word? So basically, if you haven't reached the reserve at an auction, the auctioneers will use every single word to make it sound like they have, but they'll never use the word saying
on the market. We are on the market. That means the property, the next bid buys it. And in my experience, there's two races really, or there's a win. There's there's a second wind in an auction, which you got to try and optimize, where it gets to the point and the buyer's like, hang on, we've been going on, because the great thing about an auction, it happens really fast. Buyers lose track of the dollars. They're competing. The aggression takes in. They're just, I want the property, and they're sort of just going there really fast. But then you get to the point where they're like, yeah, we've been going for a while. I haven't heard those words, and we're just both going to stop. And they almost both did. They weren't colluding, but they both stopped. They're like, we're happy at this level. See what happens. Let's hear those words. And there was a big pause. Now, obviously, from the consumer's end, buyer's end, no idea what the pause is. Really doesn't matter to me. There's a pause. And we're talking about 15, 20-minute pause. Or 15-minute, and both buyers were like, this is how long the pause was. As you know, at an auction, the buyers normally wait for the coming back. The pause was that long. They start,
and
they wait.
This is like the music stopping on the dance floor halfway through a great dance.
I got a good analogy. I can't say analogy.
Does that something to do with sex?
No, it's just like you're drunk and you're dancing, and then it's a pause, and you look at her, and she's not what you thought you were, and you're like, oh, I've woken up to it now. Yeah. So there was a big pause. This is how long the pause was. They started bidding against each other because they're like, we got to be around there. Like, seriously.
So what happened is Vic sends me inside to go and talk to the owners. Now, there's one owner that's in out west, Gosford Aaron away, and then there's another owner which is inside the property. So Vic goes, go and talk to your owner. Why? Because we're not at the reserve. Now, the crowd, half the crowd's probably worked that out, half the crowd's probably not worked that out. I'm in the room for so long talking to the owner while the owner's deliberating. If everyone starts bidding again?
They were so over it. They're like, we have to be close because this is a thing where it's tough for an agent. We have to do what the owner says. You're guiding 1.7. We're at 1.75 by now. So they're like, what, where is this? Then with that delay, like I said, they start bidding each other up like, surely we're another 10 grand, 2 grand bids or whatever. And then they just stop again. And then they both were like, no, you could just tell they dug their heels in. They didn't care anymore. They're not bidding until they know where it is. We don't want the owner to be at 2 million. Is this what's going on? And more time set in. And it just, from a viewer, they had such competitiveness, such aggression. They just felt like there was something going on because it's taking too long. Obviously, they don't know, even though because like owners are away, things like that. But they just had so much time to think, and they were competing.
And I feel bad for Vic because he's just talking air in the air, like just trying to tread water. So it ended up going to 1.775.
Yes.
1.775, but when they started bidding by free will, it went from 1.65 to 1.765 to 1.775. So I think they went up about 10-15K.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm sure, and also if you're thinking where sort of the reserve, like the goalpost moved for an agent, and at the end of the day, we are instructed by the client. It's their biggest decision, and they're the boss. So that's why a campaign is fluid. You can have it, you can have your guide, have expectations, you can have offers, and on the 18th hour, what they once wanted can be something different, and you just got to go with it. So I think there was just, you need that competition. That brings me to, who knows what it would have gone to if they just kept going, and who knows, it could have gone more, could have gone.
The romantic dance just kept going without the music stopping.
Could have got to first base. Who knows? But then,
so there's a thought process. Was the owner arm wrestling in this negotiation? Did that make them more money, or because they stopped that romantic, the music stopped? Did that actually cost the money? How would you ever bloody know? You know, I guess I guess you sort of go, guys and girls, you got to go off your gut on this one. What do you think? I'd love to know.
Yeah.
But then, so I'm in the room with the owner, and the owner's just going, I don't know.
Yeah.
And that probably went on for, it felt like about 15 minutes of I don't know. What do you, and had a friend there. What do you reckon? Don't know.
It was 45. I think it was a 45-minute auction. I reckon it was. So it would have been 10.
It was the longest auction I've ever been in.
For the least amount of
this
money.
auction.
It only went up 150 grand. I've done auctions going up 2 million. That's gone up more quicker. So
Yeah.
fluidness. That's where I came to my original hypothesis, to make sound a big word. Even if it's in the right, I don't even know if it's in the right context. But that's where fluid, the speed, and that you only get the speed with basically degree lower expectations. So I think people agree is not the right word, but it is. It's just, it sounds bad, but it's the easiest way to really explain.
And guys and girls, I've got to say, if everyone out there, the awkwardness just doesn't help. The awkwardness just, it can't help you get a better price, honestly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that it's just, there was, I think everyone in the crowd, I think we lost about half of the crowd.
I think that one buyer left halfway through, and I'm pretty sure the underbidder left when you came out. I swear he left when you finally came out to the other buyer and was like, here's the bar. I'm not even sure he walked up the driveway and left. And when you see, if you're the top bidder and you see the underbidder leave, you're not going up. You don't want to go up any further. He's left. He's gone. Your competition's gone. And when you have 15 minutes deciding in an auction, then with the wife and partner and friends, you're thinking, well, what about the other 3 properties we saw today? Now I realize, we came here with that expectation. We're here. Well, now let's think of all the other properties we saw at that level. Is this still a better buy? Time is not your friend in an auction.
So my instructions were to go to the buyer, the highest bidder, and see if they would go on the spot if they'd increase on their own bid that they'd already made, and go up to 1.8. And they said no.
Yeah.
Then my instructions will go to them at 1.785, 1.789. When I went to them with that, and they said no. I then went back inside. And this took a long time. Back out and said, owner's instructions are 1.78, and the buyer said no, to go up on their own bid. I guess some people I've seen just go up. Some people I've seen no. Then it was like, guys, what do you want to do? So I went inside, talked to the owner. The owner said, you know what? Between me, there was 2 parties selling. One of the owners was inside, one was in our Central Coast. He said, you know what? When you divide it between 2 of us, it's not as much money. So then what happened was we went out and put the property on the market. So that means a reserve was 1.8 and the reserve was adjusted down to 1.775.
Yep.
Now, from memory, was buyer 2 still there?
No, I think he was
yeah. And then buyer 3 was still there. He was already out at 1.6. The guy was there at 1.775. He got the property.
Yeah. And obviously in your defense, where it's staying fluid, there was a high offer that pulled out. Who knows how qualified it really was, which really threw off the owner's expectations after. So that's where there was that's where it sort of stemmed from. And that's sometimes happens. Yeah. You know what I mean? There was the guy at the price and everything, and then a buyer came out, and it just happens. So that, but
Mal reckons ultimize is a cool word. Ultimize is a cool word.
Yeah. So ultimize. Did I use it or you? Both probably. Anyway,
that's you making up words again. So that's the tale of the sale, guys. That was that's the break. That's the autopsy of the auction from the weekend, from Saturday. And well done to Vic LaRusso, and well done. Yeah. Congratulations to the owners, and congratulations to the buyers for a beautiful home.
Yeah, it was great. So epic. All righty, guys. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Have a good Monday, everyone, and stay tuned.
Enjoy this weather sell. And I'm very sorry to everyone in Melbourne who wasn't given any grace on their lockdown. Poor bloody Melbourne. They're having a hard time.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, I was watching a cafe operator crying today because he's been locked down for 9 months.
And the WHO just came out saying they're no good. Lockdowns have literally been proven not to stop the lockdowns were to stop overflow the hospital. 15 people infected is not overflowing a hospital, is my point of view. And the WHO just came out saying it doesn't help. It just delays. You don't. It's a highly contagious infection with a 99.9 survival rate, and you've got a whole state lockdown. Wow.
Well, well done in the footy, Melbourne, and I'm sorry about the lockdowns, Melbourne.
Yes. Yeah, they'll have celebrations of one, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Or they'll just stay in Sydney and celebrate, actually, won't they?
Oh, it's terrible.
Alrighty, that's a wrap. Thank you, everyone.
See ya. Have a great day, everyone. See ya. Bye, bye, bye.